Okay, so if we take any number or expression to the 0 power, we're going to get 1. That's the first property of exponents. Second is if you multiply with like bases, with the same bases, you're going to add the exponents. So for the first one, 4 to the 0, that's just going to be 1. Negative 1.25 to the 0, that's 1. This whole expression to the 0 power is still 1. Okay, part 1. Write each expression using each base only once. See how these bases are the same, 5 and 5, 2, 2, 7, 7, 7. What you're going to do is we're going to add the exponents. This is going to be 5 to the 9th. This will be 2 to the 1st, because 4 plus negative 3 is 1. And then negative 3 plus 2 is negative 1, plus 6 is 5. So this is 7 to the 5th. Now you can do this with variables too. So what I'm going to do is you are going to multiply the coefficients, because you could write this as 2 times 3 times n to the 5th times n to the negative 2. You can rewrite the order of it because you can use the commutative property. So 2 times 3 is 6. Then I'm going to add the exponents and I get n to the 3rd. Okay, letter B, 1 times 1 times 7 is 7. So if there's not an exponent, write a 1. Now I'm going to add the exponents. 2 plus 3 plus 1 is 6. C, x to the 8th times x squared is x to the 10th, because I'm adding exponents. D, multiply 5 times 2 times 3 and you get 30. And then this is x to the 1, so x to the 1 times x to the 8th is x to the 9th, and then y to the 4th. E, I'm going to multiply negative 2 times 7 times 2. So that's negative 24 x squared, and then y to the 4th, y to the 3rd, I'm going to add the exponents as y to the 7th. Okay, F, you really don't even need all these parentheses right here. So putting a 1 where there's not an exponent, I'm going to have x1, x1, x4, so that's going to be x to the 6th. And then y, negative 3 plus 1 plus 10 is going to be to the 8th. Okay, more problems. If you have a exponent outside the parentheses, you're going to want to multiply. You're going to want to apply that exponent to each exponent inside the parentheses. You want to distribute it. It's called power of a product. So this first one is going to be n to the 32nd. Second one is going to be x to the 18th. Letter C, do order of operations. So do this parentheses first, so it's c to the 5th times c to the 12th. Then remember you're going to add the exponent, so it's c to the 17th. D is going to be 5 to the 4th times y to the 4th. 5 to the 4th is 625, so it's 625 y to the 4th. E is going to be 4 squared times k to the 6th, so that's 16k to the 6th. F is going to be a to the 8th times a to the 10th, so I add the exponents, a to the 18th. Okay, G, I'm going to do this part first, so that's c to the 6th, and then make sure you distribute the 4 to each thing inside here, so it's 3 to the 4th times c to the 20th. So 3 to the 4th is 81, so it's 81c to the 26th. H, I'm going to do them in two parts, so this part, then this part. So the blue part is going to be 2 to the 5th which is 32, because 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 is 32. So 32a to the 15th times 3 to the 3rd is 3 times 3 times 3, so it's 27th ab to the 6th. Okay, so now I gotta multiply 32 times 27. And that is 864. Put a 1 right here when there's not a 1, so it's a to the 16th, b to the 6th. Okay, I'm going to do it again separately. So I'm going to do the blue part, which is going to be x to the negative 4th, times the green part, which is 3 to the 4th, which is 81. And then x to the 4th times y to the 8th. So 81 goes out front. If I add negative 4 plus 4, I get 0, so that's just going to cancel out, because x to the 0 is 1, so it's 81 y to the 8th. Okay, scientific notation is a number is written in scientific notation when it's of the form a times 10 to the b, where a has to be at least 1 but less than 10. So you want a to be anywhere starting with 1.0 all the way up to 9.9 repeating. Okay, so you want it just to have one spot in the ones place. Okay, and then b can be a positive or negative number. If b is a negative number, we're talking about a number that's less than 1. And if it's a decimal, that's small. And if it's greater than, if b is positive, then you're making the number larger. So are each of these written in scientific notation? So this one's no, because it's 56. The number has to be at least 1 but less than 10. So this is no. B looks good because the number is at least 1 but less than 10, and it's okay if it has a negative exponent. C is not good because it should be 8.3 instead of 0.83. And then D is not right because it needs to be a power of 10. So you can't have 3 as a base. So the only one that was correct was B. Okay, A. Write each in scientific notation. So what we want to do is we want our 0 to be between 3 and 4. So I want my decimal to be between 3 and 4. So if my decimal is right here, I'm going to move it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I move the decimal 6 places. So it's 3.42 times 10 to the positive 6. Okay, because it's a bigger number. B, I want my decimal to be right here. So I need to move it over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So it's 7.5 times 10 to the negative 7, because it's a decimal. Decimals are negative. Okay. C, my decimal's right here. So I need to move it back 2, so it's 1.25. So if I move this number to be less, I have to move this number to be greater. So I move this 2 decimal places, so I have to move this 2 decimal places more. Okay, same with this one. I need to move the decimal between 8 and 1, so it's 8.1. So I increased this number, so I have to decrease this exponent by 1. Okay, now operations with scientific notation. So we're going to use our power properties. So the first one, I don't even need these parentheses. So I'm going to multiply 1.5 times 4. So that's 6 times 10 to the, I'm going to add the exponents. So I don't even need the parentheses. So it's 10 to the 18th. B, 5 times 7 is 35 times 10 to the 13th. But this needs to be written as 3.5 times 10 to the, okay, so I decrease this number, so I need to increase this power. So this is 10 to the 14th. Okay, C, I'm going to use the property of squaring. I have to square each thing inside here. So I know that 12 times 12 is 144. So 1.2 times 1.2 is going to be 1.44 times 10 to the 18th. And D is 3 to the 4th, which is 81 times 10 to the 20th. But I need to make this number 8.1, so I decrease this, so I need to increase the exponent. So there's my answer.